old religion, a religion which existed thousands of years before Christianity. It is a fertility cult. We worship a great life source. Call it a divine creator, if you will.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, so said an all-powerful church. 9 million died as the most terrible human passions masqueraded as religion. For 3 centuries, from 1448, reasoning man tried to stamp out the beliefs of his forefathers. He failed. Witchcraft is with us today. Farmer, lecturer, executive, witches all. And Diana, Pembroke,
a housewife, going about her work from day to day, she may have the power, and an occasion may arise when she exercises it.
Modern science makes no difference to the practice of witchcraft. Witchcraft is a belief, an ancient belief, deep in the human mind. Nothing can destroy it.
The simplest thing. If someone does something to her that she doesn't like, insults her or something of that kind, she will immediately exercise this power. And it could be the evil eye, that perhaps is the most common, and the incantation, the speaking of a curse against that person.
About the scope of Diana's powers.
You could be very sick, you know. Your milk would turn sour. You'd take the day in the cot. Anything could happen.
Oh, there is another very interesting form of magic, the wax image.
How do you exercise this strange power you possess?
Cast your eyes. It's all thought is in the mind.
Now, that is known. It's a very secretive thing, but an image is made of the objects of the person's aversion or hate, made usually of ordinary wax, in the hours of darkness when most decent people have gone to bed. The practitioner will carve this thing, or mold this thing will do, as near as possible to the features and form of the object of his or her aversion.
The theory is one of the sympathetic magic between witch and victim. The effigy is the link is strengthened when the victim is made aware of what could happen and believes in the power of the witch. Question: what is the nature of this power?
You don't think any nature at all. You know you've got the power is within you. You've got a heart. It doesn't manifest itself. It doesn't sort of pop out through anywhere or anything. You just know you've got it. You can't sort of say, look, it's here, I've got it. It's not like that.
This woman could not or would not define her powers. In front of Wales Today cameras, she was equally reticent about what she could accomplish by witchcraft.
Well, you can be for bad, you can be for good. They think of witches dancing on the little pots, all circling at a merry time. But it's not so. It isn't so, you know. It's a power within you.
Reverend W.D. Williams, a lifelong student of witchcraft, is more explicit. He has first-hand experience of witchcraft in West Wales.
It is more of the white magic, as we call it, in Pembrokeshire than the black magic. And in Pembrokeshire, both north and south, it takes the form of charming for various diseases, mainly skin diseases such as bog ringworm and iris-syphilis, and various other small, trivial skin diseases. But at the present moment, I think that this charming, this power is used to cure shingles and jaundice.
As you heard earlier, North Cardiganshire from time to time throws up examples of witchcraft of a far more sinister nature. Aberystwyth is the hub, the focal point of numerous remote communities in the Cardiganshire hills. Practicing alone still persists. The banding together in covens has never been a feature of witchcraft in Wales, but with the evolution of the philosophy surrounding its mysteries, witchcraft assumes a different guise, that of a religion.
It means that we worship the very source of life itself, the life that is responsible for the whole universe cult. As you realize, the mother is a much-loved figure who also gives much love. The father inspires respect, affection, but mother is the really important figure in family life.
Witchcraft today is a relic of the pagan beliefs of pre-Christian days. It is essentially a dualistic religion. This dualism extends to an awareness of male and female, light and dark, harmony and discord, the passive and the creative, good and evil. Tonight is Midsummer's Eve, one of the 4 great Sabbats in the witches' calendar. Tonight the covens, each with its 13 members, will invoke the gods to witness their rites.
We make a circle and purify the circle. Everyone who comes into it is also purified. Then we open with a little rite to the god and goddess.
I summon, stir, and call ye up, O ye mighty ones of the north, to guard our circle and witness our rites.
We witness a ritual rich in symbolism, the outer manifestation of a religion which attracts people from all walks of life. Teacher, shopkeeper, student, doctor, laborer and housewife, all devotees, all part of what we find to be a vital and growing religion. A religion as profound and rich, or as banal and empty, as its worshippers would have it be.
Iko, Zomalek, Iko, Daninek, Iko, Arida, Iko, Enrak, Iko, Zomalek, Iko, Enrak, Iko, Zomalek, Iko, Daninek, Iko, Arida, Iko, Enrak, Iko, Zomalek, Iko, Daninek, Iko, Arida!
After this, we do work for people who want help, and we conclude the ceremony with a cakes and wine ceremony. The circle is used to keep our power within so that none of it escapes. Also, in the initiation ceremony, it rather signifies the mother's womb. We also use the same for the same purpose. This is what is known as the true witch's tool. The wand. I don't think in the old days that the wand was used like this, in this form. I think it was probably a hazel rod used for divining purposes, because as you realize, water was very important for the part it played in fertility. Now, of course, we only use this in certain rituals. The cords again are used in the initiation ceremony. Once again, you can see the symbol of the cord tying the child, strengthening this idea of rebirth. This little figure, yes, she symbolizes the great mother goddess.
A sophisticated fertility cult it may well be. Even so, the modern witch still casts her spells.
The work we do is to form a cone of power, a power from within ourselves. It's mass concentration, really, all having the same mental picture, the same intent in mind, and one's mind's all directed on this. On one occasion, we had a husband and wife. The wife was very distressed because her husband was very friendly with his secretary, and too friendly. And we were asked if we could help. So we kept a picture in mind of the husband and wife being brought together again, with nothing between. Within a few weeks, the secretary was off sick from work, and she was off so long that her boss was forced to replace her. So in this way, the end was achieved. all was well between them again. In this case, we were doing constructive work to bring the husband and wife together. We didn't say in what way they were to be brought together. The fact that it was because the secretary became ill and had to be replaced, I think, is really only a side issue.
Witchcraft was cruelly misinterpreted during the Middle Ages and was an excuse for many obscene excesses. Today it is thought of as a sensational newspaper headline. Kabbalistic signs in churchyards and staid rural deans exorcising the scene of a black mass are far removed from the real witchcraft of today.
I feel that a number of these things were probably done by irresponsible young people who'd been reading rather sensational books with a mixture of witchcraft and black magic in them, and they didn't do it with any sense of desecration in their mind, I'm quite sure, just for a bit of a laugh.
These witches are not anti-Christian. Indeed, they were found to be extremely tolerant of other religions. Tolerance is not extended to them. Theirs is a fertility cult, and consequently much misunderstood. Male and female alternate in their rites, and the supreme aim is the fusion of the male and female deity, the making whole of the great life force. The highly secret rites you now see have never before been televised.
We are naked in our rights as a sign of freedom and equality. You see, in these days of mass-produced clothes, class distinction is of very little clarity. But you can take it that years and years ago, the maid-of-all work was very distinct as from the squire's lady. So that this taking off clothes leaves everybody in the same state. I think it shows our democratic principles. We do have some quite unpleasant letters, such as one young man who wrote to us because he said he was interested in flagellation. Well, I very quickly put him in his place and suggested that what he wanted was a good psychiatrist.
This is the initiation ceremony, much of which we were not allowed to film. The initiate has now been accepted as a member of the coven. The coven, the symbol of being, of organization, and of growth.
Eco, Everett, Eco, Zomalak, Eco, Ganinak, Eco, Arida, Eco, Everett, Eco, Zomalak, Eco, Ganinak, Eco, Arida.
Of such a thing as an organized coven. That is more or less a modern development of the witches' cult. I would say personally that Aleister Crowley would have given the fillip to it. It provides people meeting together, and they have the impression that they are doing something which is very, very thrilling and out of the ordinary, and possibly they don't know with what a dangerous power or force they are dealing or playing with today. We'll see more of it probably. It's just that in its infancy now, but it might develop in this country. I rather think it is now into such a state that it might be very, very dangerous.
Traditional Welsh witchcraft seems far removed from the startling cult which Wales today investigated. But there is a link. Neist is a Pembrokeshire girl and a member of the coven. She refuses to be identified, but she will recruit and will talk of her beliefs to those who are interested.
The youth of Lacedaemon and Sparta made due sacrifice. Whenever you had need of anything, once in the month, and better it be if the moon be full, ye shall meet together in some secret place, and worship the spirit of me, who am the queen of all witches.